The American Legion was chartered on September 16, 1919 by the United States Congress. The Legion played a leading role in drafting and passing the Service Members Readjustment Act of 1944, commonly known as the GI Bill. In addition to organizing commemorative events, members provide assistance at VA hospitals and clinics. Shortly after its inception, buildings like this one in Paris, Texas began to be occupied by the American Legion all over the United States. Built strong and sturdy to serve a number of purposes, American Legion halls stand as staples in many communities across the United States. But this one in Paris, where we've stopped to explore, just might have a few surprises at hand.
Texas is full of lost history, from lost cemeteries to abandoned buildings, from the infamous to the obscure. Hitch a ride and travel across the Lone Star State, looking for hints of Texas' colorful past, our lost history. This is Expedition Texas, and we're gonna find it.
We're in Paris, Texas. We've been told about a building there that's well over 100 years old that for much of its life housed the Paris American Legion Hall. But this magnificent structure started its life innocently enough as the United States Post Office. Marvin Corley tells us about the short-lived post office in Paris.
It was built about 1915, I believe it was completed, and it was originally going to be an add-on to the existing post office, but they didn't feel like that was practical, so they turned the original post office into just the federal building, federal courts, and made this a separate one, but they still called it the United States Post Office Annex, even though it wasn't attached. And then a year later, it burned down in the fire. And because there was so much demand for material and builders, it was just more practical to go ahead and redo it, and it was used for 10 years after the fire.
The devastating fire in Paris severely damaged the old building, but as you can see, it's still here.
You know, they were going to build a new post office. It took 10 years for the federal government to approve the money for the new post office. So they used this for 10 years. Then the city gave it to the school district. And so it became the Paris Junior College, the original Paris Junior College building. This building was the first standalone junior college building in use in the state of Texas. And then about 1940, I believe, the junior college moved over to its current location. And after that, it was leased to the American Legion. And about 4 years after they leased it, they bought it from the school district.
So from a post office to a junior college, and now a building belonging to the American Legion. So just what did the American Legion do with a building this large?
This was the temporary office for the engineer who designed Camp Maxey north of town. So he was in here for about a year, and once they had the camp's plans completed, they moved out. And then I believe they made this a Legionnaire's home for veterans for a while. And the PISD still had some offices here. In fact, a little bit later on, the Paris Independent School District administration offices were here until they relocated on Clarksville Street. So you can see this building had a lot of diverse activity going on in it.
After much of the building was left vacant in the 1980s, a man named Brady Fisher bought it in 1988.
Brady Fisher was a former Lamar County judge, and he and his offer, I believe his partner's name was Holmes, and they had it for a while, and then Brady bought Holmes out a few years after that, and then Brady was here until he died in 2020.
Hi, Marvin.
Hello, welcome.
Hey. Nice to meet you, man. So, wow, outside of this building is amazing. If the inside is anywhere near as cool as the outside, we're in for a treat today.
Absolutely.
All right, so the American Legion building here wasn't always that, though. Originally it was a post office?
That's correct. It was post office annex, even though it was not connected to the former post office.
Also, at some point, a junior college?
Correct, for 15 years.
Really? All right, and then law offices before ultimately being closed down for good?
That is right. Its last use was as a law office.
All right, well, I'm hoping you can show us around here. Usually these things we just kind of start off, but I'd say let's start at the bottom and work our way up.
Sounds like a plan.
Paris, Texas, where we've entered the former American Legion Hall. In its past, it had first been a post office starting when it was built in 1915. After the devastating Paris fire, it was quickly repaired and continued to be used as the post office for nearly 10 years. After that, it became Paris Junior College. Then for a while, it was the administration offices for Paris ISD, before the American Legion took the building over in the 1940s. After the American Legion moved out, a local attorney made his offices in part of the building. Now we've met up with Marvin Gorley at the building to start our tour of the old American Legion Hall.
Usually these things we just kind of start off, but I said let's start at the bottom and work our way up.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, point me the way to that cool basement I've heard about.
Right down the stairs.
All right, let's go. Wow, Marvin. So we're right now starting off under the old American Legion building, and you said there was this was the USO down here.
That's correct, during World War II.
During World War II. So what all happened down here in the basement part of the building?
Well, it was a typical soldier's bar.
Yeah?
It had a game room. It had a dark room for the photography club.
Really?
Yes, and I don't know how
They're all
extensive it
dark rooms down here, Marvin.
was. Hopefully they weren't then. There's a kitchen back there, so I'm sure they serve food as well.
Okay.
I think there might have been a post office as well to take their soldiers' mail.
Awesome.
And the boiler room is on this side of the wall.
Okay, let's start with the boiler room. You said that's really cool, right?
Oh, it's wonderful.
Let's check out that boiler. I'm following you, sir.
Very good. Here's the boiler room.
Wow, Marvin, look at that thing.
Isn't that cool?
That is very cool.
Smokeless firebox.
Smokeless firebox, number 108.
So, well, I don't know what those bars are for. I think they cooked in there too.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Look at
And
that.
I guess the coal went down here, or the logs.
Yeah, most likely.
Look at the size of those rivets.
That is amazing.
I wonder what this was for. Can't open it.
That one is stuck closed wherever it was. It's like some brick kind of covering it too, I guess insulating it.
Wow.
Keeping the building from, and knobs along here, I guess for adjusting and wow, what is this over here?
I don't know, but it looks kind of like a hot water heater, or maybe it was just a regular heater. Let me see. There we go. Oh, look at those coils.
Wow. If you open this and some big snake comes out, I'm splashing or swimming.
I'll be in front of you. This was the bar for the USO. I can't imagine the memories this place holds, but it was an interesting period of the United States history, and the USO clubs were a really important part of the life during those years, and I bet this bar saw a lot of life. The kitchen is off this side, so I'm sure that they also serve food as well as beverages.
So far, the things we had seen in the basement were pretty common for most of the old buildings we've entered, but the old American Legion held a few surprises for our crew. A literal stockpile, surprisingly well preserved from a time when all the United States feared a nuclear bomb attack and took precautions to preserve life.
This is war rations or fallout rations from the period in the 50s, I believe, maybe some of the 60s. They had a fallout shelter in the basement as well, and my understanding is if you open this stuff up, it'd still be edible.
Really? This is crazy. So these tins actually held food. Oh yeah, there's packages of crackers in here. I don't think I'm gonna stick my hand in there. Trust me, there's crackers in there. Okay. But that's amazing. So all this, probably the ones on the bottom, probably not so much so, but all this was food.
The good news is they didn't need it. So
yeah, good. That's good. And I think I saw over there like there's drinking water in that corner, and there it is. Definitely indicated this is a fallout shelter. Wow. What else are you going to do with a giant concrete basement?
Exactly. Well, in this part of the country, you protect yourself from tornadoes.
Right. That's a good idea. Hey, you know what? Let's head up now and check out the first floor.
Let's do it.
All right. You've got old wood chairs in here, old desks with the books underneath.
We're in Paris, Texas, exploring the old American Legion Hall. We're exploring the building from the bottom to the top. We started in the basement where we saw the old boiler, the USO Club, and even stumbled upon a stockpile of old rations. Now we're headed back to the first floor to look around.
Bob, I'd like to start off showing you where the last occupant had his offices. Brady Fisher was the Lamar County judge at one time in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah?
And he had his offices here from 1988 until his death last year in 2020.
Wow, this is actually kind of a time capsule in here. This looks like it might have been even further back than that. This is amazing.
Really, I was just noticing the vault earlier. This is probably the original post office vault.
Oh yes, because you said that survived the fire, right?
That's correct. And amazingly enough, all of the expensive postage and stuff like that survived and was able to be used.
Wow, and that would have been here in this vault, which goes back, oh wow, yes, definitely original. Goes back how far?
Till 1916.
1916.
That's when the
Wow.
fire was. 15 was when the building was completed.
Yeah.
And it looks like Brady used it for his law library.
And it looks like he kept the old school phones going too. That's amazing.
I'm showing my age. They don't look that old school to me.
Maybe the ones that hung on the wall that you had to
Right.
send the charge through to. And I think this is really interesting, and I want to kind of point this out here. You said he was the county judge, and a variety of things a judge might need here. Very cool.
Brady Fisher was a real character. He showed up for everything that was going on. That was his way of campaigning, I believe. He'd show up for all of the Civic Club luncheons and all the funerals and all the weddings. Invited or not, you'd see Brady there.
There you go. Real politician right there. Good guy.
Bob, I don't know if you noticed the hallway back here that we just left. When I visited with Brady a few years ago, he stacked his Paris News against that wall.
Stacked it?
Stacked. They were about 4 or 5 feet high.
Wow.
Saved every one of them. I guess it was his resource files.
Yeah, and I guess very nice furniture in here. I guess would have been like a consultation room, maybe?
I believe so.
Wow. And all seemingly pretty much like he left it.
I believe so. I'm not sure how much he used it. I think most of the time he used that office that we went through.
Yeah. And in here, wow, big, I guess, meeting room, conference room, table. And
Library. Well, for Brady, it was his library. But when Paris Independent School District was here, the administrative offices, this was their conference room.
Oh, okay.
Or meeting room. I assume that board meetings were held here.
Oh, wow. Check this out. President Jimmy Carter inaugurated January 20th, 1977, 39th President of the United States. Little keepsake there.
Brady was a big historian, especially Paris, but and also politics. He collected autographs, I believe, of politicians and movie stars.
Wow. Very cool, and sort of a part of the building that its history is a little more recent than some of the other parts of the building.
That's correct.
But I understand that from here moving that direction in the building, everything gets a little more original, shall we say.
Okay, that's a polite way of putting it.
Okay, let's go check that out now. What's the best way to get over there? Right through there. All right,
Either one of these doors.
Following you, sir.
Okay, let's try this one.
Yeah, this room here definitely not touched in quite some time. You've got old wood chairs in here, old desks with the books underneath.
This is really old.
Oh, look at that. That is awesome. We got an old Coke machine, and I'm starting to get thirsty. And if I had 40 cents, I could get a Coke. Even that would have been a steeper price back then, I guess, wouldn't it?
There's no credit card slot.
No credit card slot. Where are you supposed to put your dollars? And more, we got an RC cooler here. And of course, can't beat the real thing, Coca-Cola here. Something might have been living in there. You know, of all the things that have changed through the years, one thing never changed. Literally a staple of every office. Staples. We're
We're in Paris, Texas, exploring the old American Legion Hall. We've toured the basement boiler room, the first floor abandoned office space, and a storeroom full of antiques. Now we're moving on, looking to see what's around the next corner.
Bob, this is a great view of the original post office lobby.
Oh,
You can see the arched ceilings and the bas-relief eagles on the side.
Yeah.
Very distinctive, very attractive.
Awesome.
This was the original part of the building. But
Didn't you say that this building used to have 6 columns on the front of it as opposed to the 4 that we see now?
That's correct. The columns on the end were removed so that they could build these stairs and those exterior doors so that the students could access these classrooms upstairs.
So we would have been in what is considered interior right now, but
This would have been part of the lobby.
right back here would have been, beyond this would have been exterior, is that correct?
That's correct.
So I want to point out something. It looks like cornerstones here that would be on the end of a building, and it looks like also they have covered up with a lot of plaster another ornamental piece up here in the corner.
Wow, I don't believe I've ever noticed that.
Look at this. You can see where the,
Yes.
and that's just covered up with plaster.
I was checking out the thickness earlier because I was
Yeah.
wondering if the columns were still existing but inside the
The
walls.
columns are probably still in there. Inside all that plaster, you could probably chip it away and find them still. Look, there it is again. More, there's half of an eagle.
Poor young bird.
Yeah, half of an eagle. And there's the other side.
Right.
So all of that is still back in there somewhere.
Right. I don't know if that classroom to this end exists or not, but I think there might have been some offices.
Yeah, something cut that poor eagle in half right there.
So I believe in here, this room was definitely open to the floor below, and there would have been a catwalk along about 1/3 from that wall, I believe.
Wow. And trophies. Randomly placed in the middle of a floor. I love it. Some of the things we stumble upon here whenever we come in to a building. This one, 78, 82. What were these for? There's a car on the top of this one.
Participation, 1982 Area 4 Convention, United States JCs.
Wow. 1982.
And I'm sure Brady was a member of the JCs.
Participation. That is one heck of a participation trophy right there. We didn't get anything like that in soccer when I played. Well, here's all the filing cabinets that the director had. Whoo!
Right, and
Nest.
this is a Texas Lions Club banner, so this must have been the Lions Club office.
Oh yeah, look here. It's the envelope too. This might have been the Lions Club director maybe.
That makes sense.
You know, of all the things that have changed through the years, one thing never changed. Literally a staple of every office. Staples.
Look at this typewriter. Looks like it's all queued up. Airport Metro. It was an old Paris Airlines.
Paris Airlines?
Yes.
Wow.
It went to Dallas and back.
That's crazy. Well, you know, the thing about this building is the bones are good.
Absolutely.
It's strong, it's sturdy, it's here, and it's survived a lot, especially those vaults downstairs.
Yes.
And so I just want to thank you for taking time to come and show us around and kind of share the history of this old building with us.
It's been my pleasure. I can't think of anything I'd like better than to see this building restored.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Marvin.
Thank you.
If a building can have 9 lives, this one certainly has. It's been home to hubs of the community such as a U.S. Post Office, a junior college, an American Legion Hall, and a USO club. It's also been home to unassuming legal practices, engineers' offices, and school administrations. What's next for this old concrete campus, as they called it? Only time will tell. But if you're hoping to level this old girl, you better bring a mighty big wrecking ball. Well, this one is going to be here a while. And in its next life, perhaps it will continue to be the center of history in Paris, Texas. Down the road, there's another lost legend waiting to be discovered. And on Expedition Texas, we're going to find it.